The lights are blinding, the crowd is roaring, and the tension in the arena is almost tangible. Three legends step into the ring, each one known for power, speed, and a reputation that precedes them. The atmosphere feels electric, like the calm before a storm. Every eye in the arena is fixed on the fighters. You can almost hear the silent calculation happening in each corner. Hands are raised, feet shift lightly on the canvas, and the subtle movements tell the story of years of training, discipline, and experience. These aren't just fighters, they are masters of their craft, and they know exactly what's at stake. The air crackles as the first fighter throws a probing jab, testing the waters. The other responds with measured caution, circling, searching for an opening. There's a rhythm here, a pulse that only the truly experienced can feel. And then a figure enters the center of the ring, calm, composed, unshaken. Chuck Norris. He doesn't rush, he doesn't overcommit. Every movement is precise, every stance balanced. You can see the other legends sizing him up, unsure if they can break through this wall of control. It's a subtle intimidation, one that doesn't need words. He just exists in the ring, and suddenly, the fight feels like it has already begun on his terms. The crowd leans in, sensing it too. Every flicker of motion, every glance, every small shift of weight tells a story. This isn't just a battle, it's a proving ground, a test of survival, a showcase of skill, instinct, and dominance. And right now, one question lingers in everyone's mind. Who do you think will make the first move against Chuck Norris? The arena is alive. Every corner, every seat, every balcony is filled with anticipation. The lights sweep across the ring, catching sweat and glinting off the canvas, turning it into a battlefield of shadows and flashes. You can feel the energy reverberate through the crowd, shouts, gasps, and whispers merging into a single pulse. The three legends stand in their corners, eyes locked on each other, muscles coiled like springs ready to explode. Each fighter has a story, a legacy, a reputation that precedes him, and now it all comes down to this moment. The crowd watches, holding their breath, caught between awe and fear. The first legend shifts his weight slightly, bouncing lightly on his toes, testing reactions. Every move is a signal, a message, a calculated psychological strike before a physical one. The second legend mirrors him, circling slowly, scanning, analyzing, and then Chuck Norris steps forward, slow, deliberate. The other two glance at him, measuring the difference in posture, the calm in his eyes, the absolute control of his stance. You can almost see the tension twist in the air. It's not loud, it doesn't need to be. Chuck's presence speaks volumes. The subtle sway of his shoulders, the twitch of a fist, the pivot of a foot, every detail tells the others that this is no ordinary fight. He is the storm before it hits, and they can feel it coming. The crowd reacts to every movement, rising, falling, caught in the rhythm of anticipation. You can hear the whispered predictions, the nervous laughter, the sudden quiet when all three fighters lock eyes, momentarily frozen in an unspoken challenge. Time stretches. Seconds feel like minutes. The legends are waiting for the perfect moment, looking for weaknesses, gauging speed, precision, and timing. Chuck doesn't strike, he doesn't have to yet. Every glance, every shift in position is enough to unsettle the others, to make them second guess. The tension escalates as the camera pans across the ring. Sweat glistens on foreheads, muscles tense, fists clench. The legends inch closer to the center, circling cautiously, each step a test, a question, a probe. And still, Chuck remains calm, watching, waiting, calculating. Suddenly, there's a flinch, a twitch, a subtle movement. It's enough for the crowd to gasp, the pulse to rise, the energy to spike. They know the first strike is coming, and that it will set the tone for everything that follows. This is no longer just a fight. It's a test of survival, of instincts, of pure willpower. Who do you think will make the first real move in the ring against Chuck Norris? The bell rings, sharp and clear, slicing through the tension that's been building for minutes. The crowd erupts instantly, their excitement cascading like waves, but in the ring, everything sharpens into focus. The three legends move simultaneously, each calculating, each measuring distance, speed, and intent. The first exchange is subtle. A jab here, a feint there. Every movement counts. You can see the slight shift of weight as each fighter tests the other's reactions. The legends are like chess masters, each strike and step a deliberate decision. Chuck Norris doesn't rush. His eyes track both opponents, predicting, analyzing, reacting before action even arrives. Suddenly, the first real blow lands. A flurry of punches erupts between two of the legends. Arms whip through the air, collisions echo through the arena, each strike punctuated by grunts and the canvas thudding under shifting feet. Sparks of intensity flash across the ring. Momentum is exchanged with every swing. The crowd is on their feet, yelling, cheering, and holding their breath at the same time. Chuck watches from the center, his stance unshaken, his calm almost unnerving. He doesn't need to dominate immediately. He's letting the other two exhaust themselves just enough. Every feint he makes draws the others in, baiting mistakes, testing reactions. And when he moves, it's fluid, almost invisible at first. A quick pivot, a precise step, a punch that lands just out of view, creating ripples of uncertainty. The legends clash again, this time with more aggression. One throws a powerful hook, aimed at control, but Chuck anticipates it perfectly, sidestepping, letting the energy carry past. The other attempts a combination, but the precision of Chuck's timing neutralizes it before it can land. You can see the frustration building, tiny cracks appearing in their confidence. Sweat glistens on every muscle, breaths coming fast, but Chuck remains measured, focused. He doesn't need brute force. Every strike he throws is deliberate, calculated to control space, to assert dominance without overextending. The first clash isn't just about offense, it's psychological. Each movement signals, I am ready, I am calm, I am in control. The crowd senses it. You can feel the tension in their shouts, the sudden gasps as each close encounter occurs. One legend lunges too quickly and gets countered with a sharp, surgical strike. Another tries to trap Chuck against the ropes, but he twists with near impossible fluidity, reversing the pressure, turning defense into instant offense. The intensity keeps building. Every punch lands with sound, every dodge is noticed, every step is calculated, and the crowd leans forward in awe. Minutes feel like eternity as the battle continues. Chuck's long-range strikes and impeccable timing frustrate the other two. They swing harder, more recklessly, and each misstep is punished, subtly but undeniably. Their initial confidence begins to waver as they realize they aren't just facing another fighter. They're facing precision, patience, and control incarnate. The arena seems to shrink around the ring. The sounds of breathing, punches, and the canvas thudding dominate the senses. You can almost see the mental calculations behind each strike, the split-second adjustments. Chuck is reading everything, timing, distance, weight shifts, and using it all to his advantage. And then, a breakthrough moment, one of the legends overcommits in a desperate attempt, leaving an opening. Chuck strikes, not with fury, but with surgical perfection. The impact lands cleanly, a shockwave of dominance felt throughout the ring. The first real statement has been made. The audience erupts, sensing a shift in momentum. As the clash comes to a temporary pause, both exhausted and calculating, it's clear Chuck isn't just surviving. He's controlling the rhythm of the fight. The others are forced to respond to him, not the other way around. The balance of power has shifted, and the audience knows the narrative is changing before their eyes. Who do you think survived this opening clash the strongest? The fight has already begun, but now, it feels like the center of the storm has arrived. Chuck Norris moves to the forefront, every step deliberate, every motion measured. The other two legends glance at him, their confidence wavering ever so slightly. There's a difference now, a shift in energy you can feel in the crowd, in the arena, even in the air itself. Chuck doesn't charge, he doesn't rush. He circles lightly, eyes scanning, fists raised, ready but calm. The other legends try to press the pace, throwing combinations, feints, and hooks. But with every swing they take, Chuck's presence is a wall they cannot breach. He anticipates, he counters, he shifts. His timing is perfect, his strikes calculated, and his defense impeccable. The crowd senses it immediately. Murmurs turn into gasps, cheers escalate, as each precise move lands. Chuck's punches aren't wild or desperate. They're sharp, clean, and deadly. Every hit counts, every feint is meaningful. You can see the other fighters being forced onto the back foot, reacting instead of acting. One legend swings with everything he has, trying to break the calm, but Chuck moves like water, evading, redirecting, striking in ways that seem effortless yet devastating. Another attempts a high-risk attack, but Chuck intercepts with surgical precision, landing blows that sting and shift momentum instantly. It's not just power, it's control. Chuck isn't trying to overwhelm, he's dictating the rhythm, controlling distance, controlling the fight. The other legends exchange frustrated glances, trying to adjust, but every strategy they deploy is met with a new level of precision. The fight has transformed from chaos into a chessboard, and Chuck is clearly 3 moves ahead. The audience can feel the tension mounting. Every punch Chuck throws lands like a statement. The fight isn't just about survival, it's about dominance. One subtle hook, one perfectly timed counter, and the balance tilts even further in his favor. The legends attempt to regroup, but the effect is immediate. The arena feels electric with the knowledge that something extraordinary is unfolding. Chuck moves fluidly, stepping in and out of range, punishing mistakes without overextending, keeping energy for the long game. His calm demeanor under fire unnerves the others. Every glance he gives, every small movement is a subtle psychological blow, eroding their confidence even further. As the section nears its peak, one of the legends tries to trap him against the ropes. Chuck responds instantly, twisting, evading, and countering with a precise strike that lands cleanly. The crowd explodes. It's a moment that signals clearly Chuck isn't just here, he's in full control. How do you think the other two legends will respond now that Chuck has taken over the fight? The tide has turned. The arena, once filled with uncertainty and tension, now pulses with a single, undeniable rhythm. Chuck Norris is in command. The two other legends try to regroup, their movements sharp but cautious, their confidence shaken. Every step they take is measured, trying to regain control, but the momentum has already slipped from their grasp. Chuck doesn't need to rush. He lets the fight unfold around him, moving like a predator, always aware, always calculating. One legend throws a wide hook, hoping to catch him off guard. Chuck anticipates instantly, shifting just enough, redirecting the energy, and countering with a punch that lands cleanly. The impact isn't just physical, it's psychological. The challenger falters, realizing too late that the rhythm is no longer theirs. The other legend tries a series of rapid attacks, combinations meant to overwhelm, but Chuck remains untouchable. Each strike is met with precision, his defense almost imperceptible, and every counter he delivers chips away at their confidence. The momentum has shifted, not with a single knockout, but with methodical, calculated dominance. The crowd can feel it too. Gasps, shouts, and cheers blend into a symphony of awe. Every observer senses that something extraordinary is happening. Chuck's calm yet commanding presence reshapes the fight. The two challengers are forced to react, their attacks becoming increasingly desperate, heavy, and sloppy. Chuck steps forward with poise. He throws a series of punches that feel effortless yet carry a weight and precision that can't be ignored. One legend tries to retaliate with a daring combination, but Chuck counters flawlessly, landing a punch that staggers him backward. The arena erupts. You can almost see the confidence draining from the challengers with each precise strike. Minute after minute, Chuck controls the center of the ring, dictating distance, pace, and tempo. The challengers' attempts to press him are met with calculated evasion, subtle pivots, and counterattacks that land just enough to maintain pressure. It's not a display of raw power, it's mastery, finesse, and control. As the fight progresses, the psychological weight becomes evident. The challenger's hesitation grows. Every movement is second-guessed. Every strike is tempered by fear of the unexpected precision they face. Chuck's presence dominates more than just space in the ring, it dominates their mindset. Suddenly, one legend overextends, swinging wildly in a desperate attempt to turn the tide. Chuck sees it instantly. A precise counter lands, a perfect blend of timing and force, and the impact reverberates across the ring. The momentum is irreversible now. The other legend falters, realizing they are fighting not just a man, but an overwhelming force of skill and composure. The crowd rises to its feet, the excitement almost unbearable. The energy in the arena is no longer about three legends. It's about one man proving why he is in a league of his own. Every punch Chuck lands, every dodge he executes, every subtle feint reminds the audience that the fight is no longer evenly matched. Who do you think will survive this momentum? Onslaught the longest against Chuck Norris. The fight has reached a boiling point. The arena vibrates with energy, every cheer, gasp, and shout amplifying the tension. Sweat drips, muscles tense, and the legends move with a precision that only comes from years of experience. But Chuck Norris stands apart, calm, collected, and utterly in control. The other two legends are beginning to feel the weight of the battle. Their attacks are heavier, more desperate, less precise. Chuck, however, moves with fluidity, reading every shift in balance, every micro-movement, every blink of hesitation. One swing, one feint, one misstep, and the consequences are immediate. The momentum has shifted fully, and the ring itself seems to bend to his rhythm. A flurry of punches erupts. The other legends throw everything they've got, combinations meant to overwhelm, to find an opening, to regain control. But Chuck anticipates, deflects, and counters. Each strike that lands is measured, precise, and impactful, not reckless, not wild, but perfectly calculated. The sound of fists hitting flesh echoes across the arena, punctuating the drama in every corner. Chuck's long-range strikes frustrate the challengers. Every attempt to close in is met with evasive pivots and punishing counters. He's controlling the fight without breaking a sweat, forcing them to expend energy while he remains calm and composed. One legend swings wildly and overcommits. Chuck steps in with surgical precision, landing a blow that makes the other stagger. The crowd erupts in awe. The intensity doesn't drop. Minute by minute, Chuck's dominance becomes more apparent. His strikes are deliberate, his movements controlled, his awareness unmatched. The challengers try to anticipate, to force a mistake, but every action they take plays directly into Chuck's hands. Every block, dodge, and strike he executes sends a clear message he is in command. The audience is captivated. You can see it in every face, every moment is tense, every punch electrifies the atmosphere. Chuck's calm under fire contrasts sharply with the desperation of the other two legends. The visual of control versus chaos is almost cinematic. Every feint, every subtle shift, every calculated strike builds suspense, pulling the viewers further into the battle. Even when one legend lands a glancing strike, it feels insignificant, as if Chuck expected it all along. He counters immediately, punishing with precision and efficiency. The challengers are now reacting, not acting. Every movement they make is mirrored, countered, or nullified, and the psychological pressure builds. As the section closes, the crowd senses the inevitability. Chuck Norris is not just surviving, he's dominating. Every punch, every dodge, every subtle movement reinforces the story of his mastery. The other legends are still in the fight physically, but mentally, the control is slipping. Which strike or move do you think was the turning point in this intense mid-fight battle? The fight reaches a critical juncture. The arena is electric with anticipation. Every spectator knows that the balance of power is shifting, and you can feel it in the air, an almost tangible tension building with every passing second. Chuck Norris is no longer just in control. He's setting the pace, dictating the rhythm, forcing his opponents to react rather than act. One of the legends attempts a daring maneuver, a risky combination meant to break the hold Chuck has established. But Chuck's timing is flawless. He anticipates, sidesteps, and counters with a precision strike that lands cleanly. The impact reverberates across the ring, a clear statement the tide has turned. The other legend hesitates, glancing at the first, measuring the situation. Both are now reacting to Chuck's dominance, forced into defensive postures. Chuck moves with an almost unnatural calm, weaving through attacks, delivering counters, and maintaining control of the center of the ring. Every step he takes is calculated, every movement purposeful, every strike a reminder of his mastery. The crowd rises to their feet. Gasps, cheers, and shouts mix with the pounding of fists against gloves, creating a rhythm that mirrors the intensity in the ring. Chuck's composure contrasts sharply with the chaos surrounding him. The two legends swing harder, faster, but their energy is wasted against precision. Each overextended punch is an opportunity for Chuck to assert further control. A sudden sequence of moves captures the moment perfectly. One legend lunges, another throws a high-risk combination, and Chuck slips between the attacks, landing counters on both with surgical accuracy. The arena erupts in awe and disbelief. You can almost see the frustration building, the doubt creeping into the challenger's eyes. They are physically present but mentally shaken. Chuck controls distance with subtle footwork, dictating every engagement. The challengers attempt to trap him, but he pivots, shifts, and counters in ways that leave them guessing. The rhythm of the fight is no longer theirs, it is entirely Chuck's. Every strike he lands reinforces his dominance, every evasion chips away at their confidence, and every pause builds suspense for the audience. The turning point becomes unmistakable when one legend miscalculates, swinging wildly in an attempt to regain momentum. Chuck reacts instantly, delivering a precise strike that stuns the fighter, forcing him backward. The shift is complete. From this moment on, Chuck is not just surviving, he is controlling, dictating, and neutralizing. The crowd is on the edge of their seats. Every movement, every feint, every strike is magnified by the tension. Chuck's mastery is evident not only in his physical ability, but in his psychological dominance. The challenger's desperation is palpable. Their hesitation is visible. The ring is his domain now, and the narrative has changed irrevocably. Which moment do you think truly sealed the shift of momentum in Chuck's favor? The ring has transformed into Chuck Norris' domain. Every strike, every step, every subtle shift in stance radiates control. The two other legends move with caution, trying to find an opening, but each attempt is met with calculated precision. Chuck doesn't just fight, he dictates the fight. The first legend throws a rapid combination, hoping to catch him off guard. Chuck reads it before it even begins, slipping one punch, blocking the next, and countering with a clean strike that lands squarely. The impact isn't just physical, it's psychological. A subtle nod, a slight pivot, a precise strike, every motion reinforces his dominance. The second legend lunges aggressively, desperate to regain momentum. But Chuck's timing is impeccable. He steps aside, his counter strikes hitting with pinpoint accuracy. The challengers begin to realize that every movement they make is anticipated, every tactic predicted, every attempt to shift the fight neutralized. The audience can feel it. Chuck is untouchable, almost untouchable. Minute by minute, Chuck maintains perfect control. His strikes are deliberate, his movement fluid, and his focus unshakable. The legends are forced into reactive positions, swinging with intensity but lacking precision. Each misstep is punished subtly but effectively, chipping away at their confidence and leaving the audience in awe. Even when one legend lands a glancing strike, it is immediately countered, nullifying the effort and reinforcing Chuck's control. The arena is alive with tension, every cheer and gasp punctuating the mastery on display. The legend's desperation grows with each passing moment, their attacks heavy, wild, and predictable in contrast to Chuck's precise, calculated responses. Chuck's dominance is not only physical but psychological. His calm, measured presence unnerves the other two, forcing them to second-guess every movement, every block, every parry, every strike carries authority, and the audience senses the inevitability of the outcome. He controls distance, tempo, and energy with a mastery few can comprehend. A flurry of exchanges occurs, and Chuck lands a series of clean, powerful punches that stagger one legend backward. The other tries to capitalize, but Chuck pivots, dodges, and lands a counter that forces him to retreat as well. The momentum is entirely in Chuck's favor. Every strike he delivers reinforces his unshakable command of the ring. Minute after minute, he continues to dismantle their rhythm, leaving the legends reacting rather than acting. Each subtle shift in Chuck's positioning alters the dynamics of the fight, creating openings that only he can exploit. His mastery is evident in every move, every punch, and every defensive maneuver. By the end of this section, the ring no longer belongs to three legends, it belongs to one. Chuck Norris' dominance and precision have reshaped the fight completely. The challengers' attempts to regain control are futile, their confidence is shaken, their movements cautious, and their attacks increasingly desperate. The audience is mesmerized, witnessing skill, strategy, and mastery in its purest form. Which moment do you think demonstrated Chuck's absolute precision the most? The ring has transformed into Chuck Norris domain. Every strike, every step, every subtle shift in stance radiates control. The two other legends move with caution, trying to find an opening. But each attempt is met with calculated precision. Chuck doesn't just fight, he dictates the fight. The first legend throws a rapid combination, hoping to catch him off guard. Chuck reads it before it even begins, slipping one punch, blocking the next, and countering with a clean strike that lands squarely. The impact isn't just physical, it's psychological. A subtle nod, a slight pivot, a precise strike, every motion reinforces his dominance. The second legend lunges aggressively, desperate to regain momentum. But Chuck's timing is impeccable. He steps aside, his counter strikes hitting with pinpoint accuracy. The challengers begin to realize that every movement they make is anticipated, every tactic predicted, every attempt to shift the fight neutralized. The audience can feel it. Chuck is untouchable, almost untouchable. Minute by minute, Chuck maintains perfect control. His strikes are deliberate, his movement fluid, and his focus unshakable. The legends are forced into reactive positions, swinging with intensity but lacking precision. Each misstep is punished subtly but effectively, chipping away at their confidence and leaving the audience in awe. Even when one legend lands a glancing strike, it is immediately countered, nullifying the effort and reinforcing Chuck's control. The arena is alive with tension, every cheer and gasp punctuating the mastery on display. The legend's desperation grows with each passing moment, their attacks heavy, wild, and predictable in contrast to Chuck's precise, calculated responses. Chuck's dominance is not only physical but psychological. His calm, measured presence unnerves the other two, forcing them to second-guess every movement. Every block, every parry, every strike carries authority, and the audience senses the inevitability of the outcome. He controls distance, tempo, and energy with a mastery few can comprehend. A flurry of exchanges occurs, and Chuck lands a series of clean, powerful punches that stagger one legend backward. The other tries to capitalize, but Chuck pivots, dodges, and lands a counter that forces him to retreat as well. The momentum is entirely in Chuck's favor. Every strike he delivers reinforces his unshakable command of the ring. Minute after minute, he continues to dismantle their rhythm, leaving the legends reacting rather than acting. Each subtle shift in Chuck's positioning alters the dynamics of the fight, creating openings that only he can exploit. His mastery is evident in every move, every punch, and every defensive maneuver. By the end of this section, the ring no longer belongs to three legends, it belongs to one. Chuck Norris' dominance and precision have reshaped the fight completely. The challengers' attempts to regain control are futile, their confidence is shaken, their movements cautious, and their attacks increasingly desperate. The audience is mesmerized, witnessing skill, strategy, and mastery in its purest form. Which moment do you think demonstrated Chuck's absolute precision the most? If you want, I can now write Section 9, Final Moments, the climax section, in the same cinematic, fight-focused style to lead into the conclusion of the battle. Do you want me to continue with that? Section 9 Min.
Absolutely.
Here's Section 9, Final Moments, fully ready to use cinematic, fight attitude, focused, high-tension, immersive. Section 9, Final Moments. The ring feels like a battlefield frozen in time. Every second stretches, each movement amplified by the tension in the air. Chuck Norris has dominated the pace, dictated the tempo, and now the fight is reaching its inevitable climax. The two other legends, exhausted and cautious, are desperately searching for an opening, but Chuck remains one step ahead at every turn. The first legend tries a final combination, fists flying in rapid succession, each strike intended to break the control Chuck has established. But Chuck's timing is flawless. He slips, pivots, and counters with surgical precision, each blow landing with weight and authority. The impact isn't just physical, it's psychological. Every strike reinforces that survival in this ring isn't about power, it's about mastery. The second legend, seeing the first stagger, lunges aggressively, hoping to change the course of the fight. Chuck anticipates the movement, sidesteps, and lands a clean counter that staggers him backward. The audience erupts. Every gasp, every shout, every cheer amplifies the drama in the ring. It's a battle of wills, and the will of the legends is no match for Chuck's poise and precision. Minute after minute, Chuck maintains relentless control. He's fluid, almost untouchable, moving with a combination of speed, strategy, and perfect timing. Each step he takes is deliberate, each strike calculated. The challengers swing harder, faster, but the momentum is entirely in Chuck's favor. Their desperation is visible, each overextended punch met with swift, precise counters that leave them off balance and vulnerable. The crowd watches in awe as Chuck begins to close in. He doesn't rush, but his presence alone forces the other two into defensive positions. Every feint, every subtle shift in stance, every well-timed strike reinforces his command. It's no longer just a fight, it's a showcase of dominance and survival at the highest level. The first legend swings wildly in a final attempt, but Chuck's anticipation is impeccable. A precise counter lands cleanly, forcing him to stumble and retreat. The second legend attempts a bold move, stepping in aggressively, but Chuck sidesteps, lands a sharp strike, and immediately regains his control of the center of the ring. The outcome is becoming unavoidable. As exhaustion sets in for the challengers, Chuck's rhythm never falters. Every punch, every dodge, every pivot is executed with perfect clarity. The crowd senses the final act approaching. Every movement is magnified, the tension, the anticipation, the knowledge that survival in this ring has only one victor. The decisive moment arrives, one final combination from Chuck, delivered with precision, speed, and authority. Both challengers are unable to respond effectively. The impact is clear, immediate, and undeniable. The arena erupts. Chuck stands in the center, composed, victorious, untouchable. The challengers are down but still trying to recover. The ring, once chaotic, is now silent in awe of his mastery. The energy of the crowd swells to a fever pitch. The audience has witnessed more than just a fight. They've witnessed dominance, strategy, precision, and survival at its peak. Chuck Norris hasn't just survived, he's controlled, outmatched, and outclassed every opponent in the ring. The final moments are a testament to his skill, experience, and unparalleled presence. Which strike or move do you think finally secured Chuck's victory in these final moments? The dust settles. The ring, once alive with chaos and tension, now belongs to a single figure. Chuck Norris stands tall, composed, and unshakable. Every muscle relaxed, every movement controlled, his presence alone commands respect. The crowd erupts, but there's a reverent awe too, a recognition that they have witnessed something extraordinary. The two other legends, bruised, exhausted, and struggling to regain their footing, look on from the corners. Their efforts were valiant, their attacks aggressive, but every strike, every attempt to dominate was anticipated, countered, and neutralized. Chuck didn't just fight, he dictated every movement, every engagement, and every outcome. The ring is silent for a heartbeat, as if the world itself is acknowledging his mastery. Chuck raises his fists briefly, not in arrogance, but as a subtle signal that he is the victor. His calm demeanor, the focus in his eyes, and the precision of his movements tell the story of an unmatched legacy. The challengers' faces reveal the truth. They were outclassed, outmatched, and overpowered not by brute force alone, but by skill, strategy, and supreme confidence. The arena roars as fans recognize the sheer dominance on display. Cameras flash, commentators gasp, and the energy in the room reaches a crescendo. Every punch, every dodge, every pivot that Chuck executed throughout the fight now resonates as a testament to his control and mastery. The crowd isn't just celebrating victory, they are celebrating perfection in motion. Minute by minute, Chuck surveys the ring. He doesn't rush, doesn't taunt, doesn't gloat. His victory is quiet but undeniable. Every step he takes, every gesture he makes, reinforces that he is in command of the narrative, the space, and the moment. The other legends attempt to acknowledge him, a silent admission that the fight was theirs to attempt, but his dominance was always absolute. The visual of Chuck standing victorious is cinematic. Sweat glistens under the lights, the bruises and marks on his challengers contrast sharply with his composed stance. Every camera angle captures the intensity, the control, the finality of the moment. The audience feels it too, the weight of survival, of mastery, of ultimate victory. Chuck steps forward, acknowledging the crowd with a subtle nod. The cheers grow louder. The energy in the arena is electric, pulsating with the thrill of witnessing a legend in action. The challengers retreat to their corners, recovering, their efforts honored but ultimately insufficient. Chuck remains the center of the narrative, unchallenged and unmatched. Every minute of the fight is reflected in this final moment. The momentum he built, the precision he maintained, and the control he asserted throughout the fight all converge into a single undeniable fact: Chuck Norris survives, dominates, and triumphs. The other legends leave the ring with respect, the audience leaves in awe, and the story concludes with the unmistakable mark of mastery. The camera pans across the ring one last time. The sweat, the bruises, the evidence of struggle, all tell a story of a battle fought at the highest level. And yet, the figure standing tall, composed, and unshaken reminds everyone that true mastery is calm, precise, and absolute. Who do you think could even challenge Chuck Norris after a performance like this? The final bell rings and the crowd continues to roar. The legend stands alone, victorious, his presence permanent in the memory of everyone watching. The fight ends, but the story, the awe, and the respect for the unmatched skill displayed will linger forever.